And welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We have just seen two games extremely different from what we witnessed last week. The Springboks fire back, the All Blacks, they were able to fire back, and now the Rugby Championship is as close as it has ever been after 4 rounds. All sides, 2 wins, 2 losses. It's anyone's game, and that is what's going to make it very exciting. But this game, from start to finish, the Springboks seemed like a whole different side from what we had seen last week. They were precise in the way that they were building up. Also, I did really enjoy the work of those tight 5 forwards. Itzabeth, he was fired up. Franz Malharba, Stephen Kitsoff, and Malcolm Marks, all in the front row, I think were very good options for the Springboks, and I hope that they do look to use that going forward as well. And Rugby Edge, come on, says Brandon. And I don't know whether or not he is awake at the moment. Of course, it is very late in the USA. I'll see whether or not he is awake and about the stage. But we have got another guest coming very soon. I think I smell smoke. Hope that's just my light warming up a little bit. But we have got, hey, Hamish, says Brandon, welcome in. And White done okay. I played at how 9 plays get in there head gritty. Big game coming up. And I think it was, I can't speak anymore, Nick White's action last week caused a lot of bad blood in tonight's game. And I think it was because it's Nick White. Says Gareth there. So, yeah, there was a lot of tension out there on the field. As we found out, as the game started to develop, all the players just seemed like they wanted to take each other's heads off. It just seemed very hostile. But South Africa, they had about 65% of the possession in the first half. They were able to convert a couple of those tries, as you see. Damien Dialende scoring the first one. Canon Moody on debut doing brilliantly, getting himself that try. And then also, just after that first half, we did see the try of Moster and then Mapimpi scoring late in the second. And also Australia is so inconsistent at the moment. It's painful, says Steve. So I guess this far out from the Rugby Championship, are you predicting a drawn series, Steve? Or are you going a little bit more in favour of the All Blacks or the Wallabies at this point in time? And also we have got there, please come on the live stream, says Brandon. I mean, it says he's active, but I don't know whether or not he might be active, but the eyes might not be open at this point in time. He did say earlier on that he might come on for a little bit of a chat around this time, but I have got another guest, ladies and gentlemen. You would have seen him popping about in the chat in the last one. Now, last week we were trying very hard to keep it PG, but it did end up going a little bit wrong at times. But ladies and gentlemen, you know him as Distracted Sports. I know him as Distracted Sports, but also Tony. Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, mate.
Hey, champion. How are you, pal?
I'm doing very well. All Blacks performance, first of all. What do you think of it?
Mate. It's like they've got bipolar. Look, he turned up out of nowhere.
Got the pocket
hey, champ, how you doing?
All good, all good. How are you, man?
Very good, very good. I was just in the process of comparing the All Blacks form to somebody who has bipolar. And that's not to make light of anyone with bipolar, but it's like a prostitute's knickers, up and down. You know, it's all over the shop, man. It's been crazy stuff. What did you think of it all, Rugby Itch? It's Tim, isn't it, Tim?
Indeed. I thought it was overall for both games. I mean, we'll start with the All Blacks Argentina one. I thought that was just a whitewash, to be perfectly honest. I thought from the get-go that the All Blacks were just dominant throughout the whole game. Like Pumas, I can't even remember if they had an opportunity actually going into the 22.
They had a really good period just before Lavanini dropped that ball.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, right at the very start, like when he dropped that first pass, and then they looked pretty good after Bowden Barrett scored that try at the very end. But the 80 minutes in between, they just went on the game.
Exactly. But overall, I mean, you have to give the credit to the All Blacks. They got the job done. They got the revenge. That's what they needed to do. To be perfectly honest, like silence the haters. To be perfectly honest, guys, I thought Sam Cane had a brilliant game. In my opinion, he arguably was my man of the match. I thought he was up there for man of the match. I'm not actually sure who got man of the match at the end of the day within that game, but for me, I would say he was mine. So fair play to him because he's obviously one who's definitely receiving a lot of abuse.
I think to the players, that's all that matters to them. They're like, who did Rugby Itch have as man of the match? That's all they're just waiting.
Exactly. That's all they want to know.
Sam Cane is going to sleep sweetly tonight with the safe and the knowledge that he's your man of the match. But you're right, he did play bloody well. And, you know, to play on his home track with all that pressure on him and all that sort of shit. But it's, there we go, straight. First swear word, clock it up. I'll give you $1.
I was just going to brush over it, you know.
I'll give you $1 for every swear word I say. How's that, champ?
Jeez, that's a
live
lot of
stream.
money.
That's a lot. Yeah,
I can put a house deposit down if I'm like.
You do live in
swear jar.
Waimate, so what are the house prices in Waimate like?
No, they're actually right up there. They used to be very cheap to live here, but now it's like for the average house, you're probably looking at like, oh well, you're in Auckland, aren't you? So this is probably like a 1-bedroom, but you're looking at maybe 400,000 somewhere around there.
Right.
So it's not too bad overall. But we have got Joe Webby there has said, have we ever seen such a swing in results before something is wrong? It's so crazy to think how close this rugby championship is.
It's mental.
Both sides 2 wins, both sides 2 losses, and everyone all pretty much on the same points heading into the last 2 legs. I actually mentioned it on my stream as well. I said if South Africa beat Australia, I think they have the best chance of being able to win the rugby championship.
I totally agree with that. Like, I'm not saying it from a Bok perspective, by the way. It's just that the way I look at it is that, like, looking after that Pumas defeat against the All Blacks, I thought they're demoralized after that defeat. And, like, I believe the first game is going to be within Argentina, if I'm not mistaken, and then the last one will be within South Africa. So that's really the only opportunity I can see for the Pumas to actually make a claim or actually get a win over the Springboks, because they have done it against the Wallabies and the All Blacks. But to be perfectly honest, I think if the Boks beat the Pumas in that first test, I think they've won the Rugby Championship.
I don't know, man. Like, nothing in this tournament has gone as any of the punters have predicted. Nothing in this tournament whatsoever. And the All Blacks are one of those teams with the natural talent that's in the team. I know they haven't been displaying it, that if they get their heads up a little bit and the passes start to stick, there's not many teams in the world that can actually stick with them. We saw it many, many moons ago in 2013 where Ireland almost got their very first victory against the All Blacks. But Dan
that was
Carter
incredible.
Snuck over a penalty at the very end to win the game in the dying moments. Then the same 2 teams lined up the week later, and the New Zealanders won by 60 points. Yeah. And that wasn't to say the Irish were a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, you know, once they start playing running rugby, once you don't put away your chances and you get your head down, that's when they're kind of flat track bullies. You know, like when they're on their home turf and they know they've got the game in the bag, they can really start to dominate you and make that scoreline start to look pretty ridiculous. And that if that Argentinian team turns up that we saw last week, and South Africa haven't particularly been, and the Argentinians really did pump the Australians in Argentina as well. I think there's more twists and turns. And it's interesting to hear. I hear all the fans of every nation going, "Why we're not consistent? I'd love to see consistency." No one's consistent. It's 2 wins, 2 losses to everybody. It's absolutely flipping ridiculous. So it's look at that. I said the word flipping, and you know what F word I wanted to say, but I didn't say it, Hamish.
No, not getting my house yet.
It was a good save.
Yeah. What do you think of that last yellow card of Makazole Mapimpi? Because I know it kind of split opinions a little bit. I love Etzebeth as well. I love the fact that Etzebeth, anytime he gets angry, his eyes just keep on going wider and
it just
wider
opens
and
up.
wider, and then just sits there like.
I thought he was actually. That's the look of a man who's about to commit straight up homicide. That was terrifying.
I actually thought he was to punch him. I thought he was actually.
Toa had his. He was sitting there. He was going, "Do you want me to do it?"
And then they're like, holding. He was like, "Come on." It was like, "Come to me, come on." Whatever. I'm just like, "Jeez."
I've got Mike Tyson right here for you.
Exactly. But I love, by the way, the Mapimpi thing. By the way, though, I mean, I know it is a yellow card. At the end of the day, it is 100% yellow card. But I love.
Was it?
Oh yes. Mapimpi started. Personally think
he started a massive fracas, right? The fracas was you're judging the fracas, and that's
it's everything, and he's the culprit.
And I want to say the word fracas
before till this point.
I'm enjoying the word fracas, so let me say fracas a couple more times. But he started that whole fracas. But like there were a bunch of other players that were involved in that fracas, But all he did was he got up and he had a head full of steam, and he just gave a little and it wasn't even on the guy's face. It wasn't with force or anything. He just pushed him down a little bit. There was absolutely nothing in it whatsoever. I don't even know if it would even touch his face. I think just around this area.
I think he pulled his beard. I think that's what actually happened.
He actually to see what the material was like. Yeah,
exactly. He was like, oh, that's pretty nice actually. Might do one myself. But
you're gonna get one yourself. Got to go through puberty first, Twitch.
No, I'm definitely not doing that.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
I'm talking about Mapimpi, not me.
All right.
I'm definitely not. To be honest, I actually shaved today.
I'm a terrible person. I made a silly burn over there. I apologize.
There you go, him $1.
Exactly. There you go.
Oh, if I'm going to owe someone $1, I'm going to swear. Okay, I'm only $1 down so far.
That is very true. I've never seen New Zealand lose so many matches recently. I feel like I'm living in an alternative reality, says Steve Smith. It's really weird because now we know that they've got the Bledisloe Cup match next week, or the week after, on the Thursday of all days.
Indeed.
But it's like, are they going to come out and play like this again, or are we going to see what we saw in that first game up against the Pumas? Is it 50 handling errors or none? Because that seems to be the two at the moment. They only had 3 throughout that match, and it was massively the difference maker. Also, I think the rain really benefited the All Blacks because it meant that they weren't able to do so many of those unorthodox, like trying to absolutely flicker wide and all sorts. They just went with the stock standard. We need to keep this structured. Like you mentioned, Sam Cane did very well throughout that match. I was actually very impressed. And I gave him a clap when he went off the field. I said, this is the first time in quite some time I've done this, but fair play, Skipper.
He was brilliant. He was really brilliant. But I think also another reason for why the All Blacks just did so well on the day was actually because of the Pumas and the amount of mistakes they made in terms of the turnovers. Because I think it was 11 knock-ons, or it was something like I saw a stat which popped up. I was like, wow, that just kind of shows you how it went throughout the whole game. But obviously that does come from the All Blacks defense putting a lot of pressure on them as well. So it goes both ways really from that stat. But the All Blacks were brilliant, and we love to see that. I mean, they needed that victory, and smash them by over 50, that's just that makes a statement and a half. So obviously happy for them.
Just so confused. I'm just so bewildered by all this. They've looked absolute dog balls so many times, and Sam Cane he's been the captain of a terrible All Black team, the worst All Black team since '98, maybe since before that. And he played well today. Yeah, that's fantastic, brilliant, all that sort of stuff. It was interesting. I think you're dead right in around the elements really did impact the Argentinians. There were a few occasions in that first half where they looked like they had some attacking threats, where they had an opportunity to, really get a bit of go forward ball and maybe take the momentum. But in every moment that they had, they knocked the ball on. They just couldn't gain any sort of foothold in the game whatsoever. And I can't really remember a single thing in the whole 80 minutes that they did well. It was almost like a different team to what we saw before last week in Christchurch. It's just quite remarkable. And I think they'll be absolutely spewing in terms of what happened and how they let that game get away from them, how they dropped their heads at the end of the game. I don't think that's a reflection on who that team is. I just think it was just a really, really bad night at the office for them. But, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back against South Africa, because they get South Africa at home first, don't they?
Yes. So it will be a 7:10 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand. Nice early morning start for us. But then it's weird because we don't have the Saturday night game of the Bledisloe.
We've got a bit
We have to stay up later.
Do you know, I keep calling you Twitch, Rugby Twitch.
You call me Tim, it's all good.
Sorry, Tim. Do you know why they've got the midweek game? Do you know what the reason is?
Oh yeah, it's because the NRR, right? There's a whole grand final.
It's actually
the grand final.
It's in Melbourne. It's actually the AFL final.
AFL, that's it. Sorry, I knew it was one of the two, but yeah.
I think the NRL final is always really close. It's always within a week. It might be both on that week.
But you're right. That's why.
In Melbourne, it's a goddamn.
It's the biggest thing.
It's huge
in Melbourne. It's bigger than rugby union. That's why with Australia,
it's much bigger. Like rugby union is so insignificant in Melbourne.
That's why, like with Australia in general, that's why them hosting the Rugby World Cup it's even more important because it kind of brings up hopefully after that it kind of maybe brings rugby union at the same level, I would say, to AFL and obviously NRL and all that, because for a long time those have just been they've been smashing it in terms of attendance numbers and everything, and sadly in terms of the Super Rugby attendance for a lot of the Australian clubs, I'd say bar probably the Reds because they've been pretty consistent, I'd say, within their stadium within Queensland, but like it's one of the, within Brisbane, I mean, but hopefully they can work on that attendance.
It's interesting in Australia because the different states that they have there, like in Melbourne, like Victoria in general, they don't really give a rat's ass about anything else other than AFL. Obviously, the F1 and the tennis, when it comes here and all that sort of jazz, they're a big sporting city, but AFL is absolutely king, and they don't even know any of the players or the rules even. They don't really even understand the difference between rugby league and rugby union. It's insignificant in Victoria. But and then when you go but it's just in terms of rugby union in that country, it's just been diminishing. Like there were some high points in the past. They won the World Cup in 91 and 99.
Of course.
And they, had some good periods of dominance. In fact, they haven't won the Bledisloe Cup since 2003.
Yeah, it's been a very long time.
They've had some really, really bad management through the ARU through that period as well. And the sport has really been diminishing across the board. So it's actually really important for SANZAAR and the global game, especially in this part of the world, that we have a strong Australian team. We haven't had a strong one for ages. So I kind of I don't want to see them win the Bledisloe, but if they ever had an opportunity to win a Bledisloe Cup,
now.
It is absolutely now. But Hamish, do you give them a shot this year? What are the chances?
I can kind of see a 1-1 scenario just because it seems to be what we've seen.
A 1-1 still stays with us.
I actually don't think so. I actually think it'll be 2-0 to the All Blacks.
I really don't like the 2-match series. Are we all in agreement with 2-match series? It should still
it's
be
awful.
3.
It's terrible. What
I've always said is that it's terrible for them.
Exactly. Yeah. What I've always said, because I've talked to several people about this, is that it should be like a home and away game, obviously, one in Australia and one within New Zealand. But the third test should, if there is a decider, I believe it should be played at a neutral ground, so somewhere not within New Zealand or Australia.
Say the guy from Hong Kong. My God.
I'm just saying, you take it to like US, or you take it to Samoa, or you take it to Fiji, like something where you can kind of open the market slightly for that decider.
You're just basically. No, that's a lovely idea, but you're asking the NZR or the ARU to turn their backs on millions of dollars, and they don't really like. I know they won't do that. Yeah, they had one game, the game where the Australia won, and I think they played in Singapore. Was it in Hong Kong? Where was it? Where they absolutely pooped? This was like back in 2010.
Yeah, I actually went to the game. Like I was at really? In 2010. Yeah, that's when Hong Kong. It was when Australia won that. Australia won the Bledisloe then. And
the Beaver had an absolute shocker, and everybody turned on him. And then he came back and had a fairy tale.
That's when, James O'Connor got the winning penalty in that game. Yeah. Like, I don't want to say a lot because I have my whole story within that game because I literally watched it, and I was actually I was sitting right next to Ali Williams actually watching this whole game because he was injured. Well, I think he was injured during the game, and we're good, like kind of friends with him, and we got to like watch. I was like, I was very young. Wow. I was like, what? I was 10 because it was 2010 then. So I got to watch the game, literally sitting next. I was at the time I'm supporting for the All Blacks because I looked up to him as like kind of a role model. Then I was like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. Like, come on, and then they just blow it. And like you said, it was I keep forgetting the Beavers' name.
I keep hearing the Beavers' name.
That's Stephen McDonald. That's it, Stephen Donald. And like all he had to do was just kick it out. But then he kept it in touch, and then from there, obviously, the Wallabies just got on to win the game. But it was just a mind-blowing finish. And so, but I'm not saying it has to be in like Hong Kong. I'm not even
makes me feel very old knowing that I was older than what you are now back in 2010. Yeah.
So we did get that question of what is AFL, and I decided why not do a fun little mini game. So we're going to go around in a circle or triangle because there's 3 of us. We're going to start with Tim because he's at the bottom. Then we're going to go to Tony. Then we're going to go to me. You guys have 10 seconds each to try and describe what AFL is.
I reckon we should do this more. Can we make this a regular thing? Instead of calling it a circle jerk, we can call it a triangle jerk.
I mean, I'm not sure where the jerking came into it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, where did that come from?
Sorry.
No. That's $1. No. So it's going to be 10 seconds on the clock, Tim. I want you to tell Thiabo what AFL is. 3, 2, 1, go.
If I have to say what AFL is, I'd say it's kind of it's very physically demanding. It's a fast-paced sport, and it resembles a ball similar to rugby.
There you go. Okay, that was fair enough. Right, your turn, Tony. You think you can top that? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Played it on an oval pitch. It's a game around kicking. You have to kick the balls through posts to score points. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins.
That wasn't too bad either. There you go.
But I would also describe it as this. Have you ever seen 5-year-olds learning to play rugby? And they're all just chasing the ball around and it's scrappy as and nobody knows what the hell is going on. That's often what the AFL looks like sometimes. But on the other hand, they have these incredible kicks, amazing marks, speckies. It can be beautiful, but it can also be a real pain to watch.
Yeah, when you see one of those guys like glide and jump onto someone's like shoulder with their knee and take an aerial catch, it's pretty impressive.
Amazing.
I think. Have you ever been to an AFL game? Either of you two?
I've been to a couple.
Yeah.
I've worked for a couple of Melbourne-based companies in my lifetime, and I've been to the MC. I've been seen a game at the MCG, and I've seen a game at Etihad. And my team, because my uncle, I guess, not by blood, but he's my uncle. He's an Australian and he supports the Bombers. So he told me when I was very young that I'm a Bombers fan. So go the Essendon Bombers.
Yeah, I've only seen one game when I was in Australia a long time ago in Melbourne, I believe. So, but that was like ages ago. So I can't remember which teams I even saw. But only once.
I once made it into an AFL commercial. Fun fact.
Did you just?
Really?
Yes, it did help that there were men in full body paint in front of us. so I was like a background feature. I was holding a chip going, and I managed to make my way into the AFL ad. So I don't know whether or not that's still an ad out and about.
We're gonna have to find that.
Yeah, I want to get this straight for a second. So you were in front of men in body paint going like this.
Almost, yeah, kind of.
That's exactly it. That's exactly what he said.
Right, I got it straight.
I want to say it was Brisbane Lions versus someone. If I'm not wrong, I can't remember. They were dressed in
Essendon, St Kilda.
Might have been the Magpies.
Oh, right, that's Collingwood, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that might have been it. But I was on the TV when we got back the next day. I just see me holding my chip going, hey. And then those two guys just full on just decked out in the colours. I tried to sell them one of my one of those clappy hand things. One of them didn't have one, so I tried to sell them one. This was when I was very simple.
Hey, you're a young little entrepreneur.
There you go. And now we do YouTube, eh? How times have changed.
Now we do YouTube. How did it happen? But one thing that surprised me, just going back to the rugby, I'd love to talk about your famous career in AFL ads for longer. But how much bad blood was in that game? There was a zesty little citrus fruit. That one. They had a lot of spice going on. It was people were getting into each other from the get-go. It seemed like they're a bit of toing and from. I didn't realize that was on the cards. I didn't feel that last week, but I really got the feeling that they really didn't like each other out there.
I think the Nick White scenario from last week caused a lot of it for Box supporters, because anytime he was going to box kick, the crowd booed. But Khaleesi seemed extra fired up, didn't he? There was one that I saw later on that he was just pushing a guy, and I was like,
I loved it. There was one moment where it was like literally he just stood up and then there's like 5 like Wallabies around him and he's just looking all over. Was like, "What? You want some?" And then the ref, like Beto Keefe was like, "Just get out, mate!" Like it's just like get out.
What did we? It's a bit of a controversial one, but what did we think of the refereeing tonight?
I thought it was better than last week. I think it was pretty solid.
Yeah. I thought it was right. I
agree as well.
I thought there was a little bit of an unfortunate period where the Springboks had conceded about 6 penalties. You know, when the Wallabies were like hot on attack for a long period of time, and then
the whole
and they were like right on their line. They had got a yellow card warning, and it looked like they were at a moment where if they scored then it was going to be could have been 22-10. Oh no, 17-10. And, all to play for, but the TMO calls it up for a look at foul play, and it was just that really innocuous looking clean out by Alan Alatoa. That didn't look like there was much severe contact. The guy, I don't know the guy was so damn low. How do you get any lower to clean the guy out?
It's incredible. Like
it's head high. But then the thing that got me about it was literally less than 5 minutes later in the preceding plays, there was a tackle from Sia Khaleesi where it was nothing in it as well, but he did make head contact on the Australian player, and they went up to the TMO and they said, yeah, there was head contact, but the guy was going to the ground. And I'm like, well, if we're going to show some common sense about that situation, which you shouldn't we have shown some common sense about the Alan Alatoa situation as well? So I was like, and that was a very, very crucial moment in the game. Like, I'm not a Wallabies fan. I'm not a Springbok fan, but like, I just seemed as if I was a Wallabies fan in that situation, I've been like, hey, we really got ticked over there. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good.
It seemed to be like main referee. I think Ben O'Keefe was solid, but the TMO I think was probably the more talking point.
Exactly. I do think, however, that point with I believe it was Tom Wright actually who got the ball and then went down through Khaleesi's kind of head thing. I actually think that was the correct call, but I do agree that because like he was already going down under, so I understand maybe where Khaleesi's coming in, or maybe that's not given. Exactly. Like the fun. But I do agree with you though, however, that the previous infringement, obviously with Alan Alatoa, I think that was very soft, and like you were saying, like Wallabies just had all the momentum
of the game, though. A crucial moment of the game.
They had all the momentum. They had all the momentum. So it really should have gone the Wallabies' way, I think, and I think that's one of those moments where it is I believe it was the right decision, but it kind of stopped the game from being more like kind of the Wallabies getting back into the game and making it even more exciting, for the rest of the game. So in that aspect, I kind of, I was like, it's great, but I kind of wanted to see what could have happened more. But overall it was good. Overall, good game.
Okay,
good game,
so
early
predictions. Do we see the Pumas beating the Springboks in Argentina, or do we see the Pumas possibly having a similar result as what we saw when they played up against the ABs? And also Bledisloe Cup Thursday night footy. Who do we see taking out that game?
Holy moly, so many questions you've just thrown our way. But this is just the worst time to ever be somebody who tries to predict results, essentially, because it's all been wildly predictable. Everything that anyone's said going into any of these games, it's just been nonsense. It's just all been an absolute fugazi. So, but if you had to call it, I would say that the front runners probably to win the rest of the championship are the South Africans, just based on historical form. But the Argentinians have showed that they're a quality outfit despite tonight's results. They really they did a big game, a big result on the Wallabies in Argentina. They show that they're kind of a different team in Argentina a lot of the time. When their heads are up and their defensive strategies are on point, they're great. They've got a similar kind of strategy to the South Africans in a lot of ways. They like the box kicking. They like the high balls. They like to throw men at the high balls. So it'll be interesting to see when those sort of things collide. So I could definitely see them winning a game, but probably you'd have to give the edge to the South Africans, but they could definitely nick one. What do you reckon, Twitch?
Yeah, I mean, it's either say.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I've got Titch or Twitch in my head. Sorry, Tim.
It's just itchy. But no, I mean, with both games, I feel like I truly believe the All Blacks will win both games actually against the Wallabies. I just think it's not just it's because of what they did against Argentina. I believe they can carry that on within both of the games. One in Australia and one within New Zealand. But I also think it's because Australia had a lot of injuries. We saw from that other game. Like from this game from out of the Springboks. We had Tupou who didn't even get to come off. That was kind of an unfortunate kind of injury there. You had Nola Say who had to come off early. You had Hunter Asami who came off early as well. So it's always kind of players who are key players really for the Wallabies side. And I kind of just, as soon as I saw these players go out, I was like, the Springboks are winning this game. It just matters by how much now, because they didn't have that's also another reason why they should have gone with a 5-3 split, because they lost a lot of their backs rather than the forwards. So kind of another negative to why they maybe should have reverted back towards a 5-3 split. But on the day, like I said, New Zealand, I believe, will win both games, just going off that game I saw against Argentina today. And for the Wallaby, I guess for the Pumas Springbok for the 2 tests, I personally believe the Springboks can get the job done within both. I'm not going to say they'll see. The problem is that because the Pumas have played so well within this Rugby Championship, I can't even say that we'll get a bonus point within both games, because they've been so good. I mean, like you said, the first game against the Wallabies in Argentina was just it was just not the first game, actually. It was the second game, was just mind blowing. And that was I was like, what is going on here? I was on a canoe watching this, on the outside. I was like, is this real? I was like, I had to go back in. I was like, no. And I luckily I caught that last try with Buffelli, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it just got out of hand. So if they can do something like that, then yes, I truly believe the Pumas have a chance. But
just got out of hand.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
And also, just to touch, I didn't quite make a prediction on the All Blacks Aussies game. I kind of wanted to hear what you wanted to say, but when you say after the performance from the All Blacks tonight, you can't see them, losing.
I really can't. This is a statement. No, but I'm telling you, this is a statement win. I've seen other wins.
No. Okay, it's okay. I've got to stop you. Okay, so a statement win was that game at Ellis Park. I don't think so. I don't think that's a statement win, because a lot of people have diluted that Ellis Park that was a game. I think it's a game which Ian Foster had the win, but not for All Blacks to lose that game. It was more Ian Foster was on the line, but that's not a statement win for the All Blacks. This is a statement win because they were just so dominant within every area of the game. They blew Argentina out of the water. That's why for the All Blacks to win that game, where everybody had written them off, where everybody's saying they're not the team that they were before, for everything to be on the line, for them to play the way they did, to be able to come back in the last 10 minutes when Beauden Barrett was off the pitch, for them to keep their composure, to be able
that was sensational.
To be able to do the things that great All Blacks teams do, that if that's not a statement, I am not a New Zealander. That was as a New Zealander, that lifted the spirits of everybody here. Everybody's like, there they are. We can see them. And they were saying, damn right, we're here. We can do this. This is the team This is the team you love. This is the team you've grown up with. So everybody was like, okay, we just all kind of exhaled and was like, okay, it's fine. They've made their statement. They've done it,
But then you lose the next match, though.
We'll get the Argentinians back here. We know what we're doing with them. We'll be able to beat them. And then while everybody was just kind of exhaling, just trying to basically cleanse the palate from the Irish series and the terrible form before that, they lose again.
They crumble.
They absolutely kidney punched them. So after said statement, it was all over again, showing that how inconsistent they were, showing that there is still massive frailties there. And it's showing that essentially what we saw in that statement was a false dawn. So there's no reason to believe that whatever happened tonight wasn't another false dawn. Do they have the capabilities to be able to just say, actually, we are that team that can put 50 points on, tier 1 nations? I don't know if they are. They've shown over the last 8 games that they're not. So to say that they're just going to, there's no way they could lose the next 2, or there's no way that they could lose the Bledisloe or anything like that. I think it's just being a little bit a little bit too confident in their abilities based on current form. You know, like these are unprecedented times for All Black fans to be able to go through this sort of period of massive uncertainty, or go through periods where we're like not in the top 2 of the world rankings. We've had a mortgage on the number 1 ranking spot for the last 20 years. I know we've been 2 occasionally, but very rarely 3. What were we this morning? Like 5, 6?
5. No, 5th. You guys were 5th, and if you guys lost today, you would have gone down to 6th for the first time in history. That's
wow.
what ever. But
unprecedented.
But what you just said there, like, by the way, you had a perfect explanation of everything of what you said. But you also
first time ever. Perfect.
Many times, actually.
Stop there. I want that to be my epitaph. Here lies distracted sports. Perfect explanation of everything. That would have been
of everything. I truly mean it. But for me, like what I would say, and what I'll take from what you said there is that I also believe, because you mentioned it was a false statement. That's why I just can't see it as like that Ellis Park win was really the statement win, because it also had a lot of it was the one after the game, the one after they crumbled. So that's why I see this one more of a statement win. And like you said, it can go completely wrong for the next game. But I believe what I saw today was more of a statement win to what we saw within Ellis Park. You may be right that yes, in terms of opposition, it is a completely different field, and to win against the Springboks away in Springboks in South Africa is a far greater thing to do. But I love that. What did Hamish last week?
I'm just sitting back watching Mum and Dad argue. That's all. I'm just waiting after it's all done.
I kind of see us when me and Tim come on. I was like, somebody needs to give Hamish a break. He's literally been talking nonstop for the last 4 hours.
That's what I meant.
Cracked lips. His bladder's full. Like
I'll drink a lot of water.
He needs
He's
water.
drinking a lot of water. The poor guy. Like, so I just think me and Tim talking some nonsense for a bit.
What do you mean he was breath back?
Yeah. I'm sorry. We're not. I would. Is that why? That's how I kind of see these things. We just give you a break from talking for a bit. Yeah.
No, that's so good. I like to hear the insight as well. I just look at stats in the corner of my eye. I'm looking at yellow cards, and boy, there were a few of them in this game, weren't there?
Yeah.
Another 3.
Oh, and by the way, Thomas Lavini, of course, gets another card. Another card to his set.
I don't often feel sorry for Thomas Lavini, but I like, if he gets a yellow card, I want it to be for a cannonball tackle, high tackle, like some deliberate play.
Yeah, exactly.
Something nasty. Not like a team yellow card. I felt sorry for him, the fact that it had to be him that got the team yellow card, basically, which I feel like it should be a subset in your career. Like, how many actual yellow cards did you get for foul play, and how many were just because the rest of your team had bad
I agree with that, actually.
And you were just the last guy to get caught.
I hate when that happens, though, because, like, even though, like, maybe you're like the guy that doesn't even deserve it, but, when it comes towards a team card, you just have to, like, just have to accept it and just go off for 10 minutes. So, But
it won't look like that. It'll just look like another.
Oh, exactly. Even like Squidge on Twitter was like, wow, I believe Lavini has now broken the record now for yellow cards now, in top of his red card record. So I was like, it's just like, geez. But
he knows how to get them, doesn't he? If he knew how to score tries as proficiently as he knew how to get cards,
he's world class.
Dangerous.
He's a world class player, though.
Oh, he's brilliant. Like, he's a brilliant player. I've watched him for a long time. Like, the Pumas, a lot of the players in the Pumas who obviously played for the Jaguares in the past, I have followed every single player. Like, I made a pass. Like, when it came, Auckland Blues is my team when it comes to Super Rugby, hands down.
Me too.
But I mean it. Jaguares was like my second team when they were in the competition, because I just loved watching them. We all know the Argentinian spirit. We've seen it, from the last few games now. And they're just a great watch. And a lot of these players, like, it's crazy because Boffelli, I knew from day one when I first saw him play. I think he was like 23 when I first saw him play or something. And he was just sensational. And he's what, 28 now? He's like in his prime. But he seems like
for a tight forward, it feels like he's been around for a long time. But he's not particularly old, is he? No, he's great. Did anybody see? There's been a few tweets about it since, but the handshake or the non-handshake between Pablo Matera and Dan Coles. Did you see this, Hamish? You've been talking for the last 4 hours. So
I have not seen this information. I know that those two had a little bit of something going on near the end of the game. Dan Coles was going like this, which I assume, like I said at the time, if Dan Coles is doing this, it means that you must have done something wrong, because Dan Coles isn't known for using this too often.
It was hilarious because Dan Coles, like, I believe it was like the All Blacks won a penalty, like in the Pumas 22, and he literally just ran up to like the Pumas, and he's like, "It's like, yeah, that's right." The Matera's like, "What are you doing?" After
Dan Coles at that stage had probably only been on the field for like 2 minutes.
It was so fun, but that's Dan Coles.
He's in great form, isn't he? Takiaho.
Oh my gosh! Oh, here it is. Do you want to see it? Can I? If I hold this up to you,
show it. Yeah.
Hopefully, it doesn't.
It
should be all good.
It's actually technically a tiny little bit of footage from somebody else. Do you think we can handle it?
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Wait, okay. Oh, hold on. See, going up in the line, won't shake his hand and pushes him.
He's like shoves him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's not as bad, but still,
it's not that bad. But it's like it's not that bad in terms of a spectacle, but it is quite bad in terms of like the gentleman approach of
rugby,
when you're like, you know, whatever happened on the field, it's over. You know, we'll have a couple of beers afterwards, which is, you know, one of the key parts of rugby. But like, hello, I'm on Kiwi Lads. Do you want to say hi? Good God, no, is what the answer was. Yeah. Right,
he owes me $1.
What did I swear?
No,
for me as well.
Earlier. Yeah,
and for me as well, right?
We got to cash out.
I didn't fucking swear. It's good. Don't worry about it. No, what was I saying before my partner completely threw me off my train of thought?
The whole Dan Coles.
Yeah, that's quite a bad thing to do in the you know, the unwritten rules of rugby. You always shake a man's hand afterwards, and he pushed him. Like, off. And then from Pablo Matera, and he was super chummy. He was taking photos with all the Cantab boys afterwards.
Yeah. So I think I don't know what was said, but it must have really hit a nerve of Pablo Matera. It kind of reminded me of, from watching that, it was kind of the next step upwards of. Have you guys seen the Mr. Bean clip of when he's on a blind date?
Yeah, I've seen it.
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
That's
when
brilliant.
He's on blind date. How is he going to be on blind date? He doesn't talk.
I love it. Exactly.
Oh, the green screen's going to ruin it.
I love that.
You pretty much just shove the woman in the face. Push you back, get out there, and give you a handshake instead.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the next thing down. It was, rather than the handshake, it was a push on the chest and not touching your hand, Dane.
Yeah. So for
I'm
you
still
then,
here, by the way. I'm just making a drink, guys. Just relax.
Oh, what's on the menu?
Oh, yeah.
Some ice cubes. Fancy. That's what you get when you live in Auckland, Tim.
Exactly.
Get some ice cubes.
Get the expensive, high class alcohol there.
When you're in the South Island, you don't actually have to have ice cubes. You just step outside and there's ice everywhere. So
exactly.
You just whack into a puddle and then scoop around and then
exactly.
Just scoop around the glass.
When Hamish is at home, Donna just yells at him, going, "I need a drink, crack a puddle," and then that's.
There's probably a puddle in his house, like where he has like a little hole where he just goes in, he just takes it up.
Oh, you're thinking like the igloo. I also fish down it.
Exactly. There's probably fish that come up as well.
So this is what's on the menu right now. A little bit of a scotch, single malt.
Like a scotch. Love a scotch.
Yeah. I'm always drinking when I talk to you, Hamish. It's how I get.
You are. Am I a bad influence? Am I?
No, I'm. It's not you. It's me.
I love you trying to get your words out. It's like, it's definitely not you.
It's not you, dude. Not you.
Also, the Aussies have a. Oh no, I just realised that one was an insult to Nick White again. I only get moonshine in my matty.
For you, Hamish, I have a question for you. So, who was your man of the match for the Wallabies Springboks game? Because we haven't actually got into that one as well.
I want to say, Sia Khaleesi had a lot of good turnovers throughout that contest, so I think he was certainly up there. And then also, I mean,
I thought Mostert was good.
Other than that, Mostert was good.
I'd say Mostert.
Also, Valimza didn't do too badly at 10. His kicking game let him down, though, I would say. But his running game, I thought, was pretty solid.
The cat touch this is like, it was good. That one moment, like, where he just, do you not remember the moment, like, where he just skipped through everyone? He's like, he just went.
I didn't realize he was humming the song while he did it.
Oh, he was. He was definitely humming it. I even put it on my post on Instagram.
MC Hammer, guys.
DC Hammer.
Is that like when you're doing CPR, how you got to do it to the Bee Gees? Staying alive.
That's like the Office. Like,
song that you go to.
I love that. You've seen that scene, right? Like,
I also have lived that scene because we had to do it at a beach, like for a training course. Don't panic. Like
I've done it as well. So yeah.
Like,
no, you should change that story to be like, I did it at the beach. It was this scantily clad woman that I had to pull out of the ocean.
Rescued a woman. Yeah, exactly.
Then like part 2 of that story was she wasn't drowning. I just pulled her out of the ocean. You know, like.
Yes.
No,
I mean, George, as you can imagine, George decided he'd practice his left hook and whatnot on the dummy, which, of course, the teacher, who was a paramedic, wasn't too happy about. But.
No. Of course. All right, where is George tonight?
George, I would think, is more than likely. Oh, he might not have been at the pub. He might have been watching the game with his folks. I believe him and Daniel think we're doing something tomorrow. I don't know what time, though. But this will be weird because I will be in bed before like 7 a.m. tonight, which is not normal for a weekend of rugby. Like the fact that we've got both of these games now. And then, like, I have the freedom of the evening. You know, I might cook some eggs, maybe.
Ooh. I've got Father's Day in the morning. I've got Father's Day in the morning, so I get a little
pancakes.
It's probably my daughter asked me what I wanted for breakfast tomorrow morning, and I kept on saying eggs. Eggs would be good, and she kept on saying, "Nah, raspberry toast." Raspberry toast. Raspberry toast. I was like, "Nah,
raspberry toast."
Right, eggs. And she was like, "Nah, I like raspberry toast." So she likes raspberry toast, so I'm getting raspberry toast.
See, I thought when she asked, "What would you like for breakfast?" I thought you were going to say double scotch. Just get me through the day.
No, I'm not quite that bad. I don't get my 4-year-old daughter to pour me scotch. And
from the top shelf.
Yeah, it's a good life lesson. You know, a good life skill to have. She could go on to be a barista.
She couldn't do it right now. She's got a broken arm, the poor little thing.
That's true. How's that healing along? She's still kicking him out?
She's in cast at the moment. So she's like that.
Oh, does she have to have it? Oh, no. I thought you were meaning she had like
she's just in a cast over there. She's fractured her elbow, so it's she's in like across the elbow. I'm sure this is fascinating for your viewers. They really want to know about my daughter.
Well, Matt Dixon now wants to know what the hell is raspberry toast.
It's raspberry jam on toast.
Yeah. It's wonderful, actually. It's wonderful.
There you go, Matthew Dixon. I'm sorry about that. She doesn't say the whole raspberry jam on toast. No, she just says raspberry toast.
Raspberry toast is a lot easier. Yeah. Oh, have you had fairy bread yet as a father?
Hundreds and thousands on white bread, basically.
Yep.
I haven't had it as a father, but I have had it. Yes. Yeah, we've got a birthday party coming up soon, so that's going to be exciting. It's a Moana theme. You're both invited. Just got to make it to Auckland, chaps, and enjoy hanging out with screaming children.
I often get compared to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Really?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
I don't. Unfortunately, I can kind of do the eyebrow, but that's about it.
Let's see the eyebrow. Okay, apparently, Hamish and I do a very weird video that just hundreds of thousands of people watch every week about try predictions. And you mentioned to me.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen it already. Yeah.
Oh, gold content. I feel sorry for you. We talk for about an hour and a half. It's just me making dick jokes for about an hour and a half.
I love it. Like, that's the thing is that, like, when you go for everything, you're not actually going for each player. It's like you have a section of the player, then it's like 15 minutes on, like, you know, a topic of conversation. Then you get back. It's like, what are we talking about? It's like, oh yeah, we're about to this. Love it.
No, I feel for him trying to edit it because it's just so much nonsense. And then I left that one going, how is he going to make something out of what for the hell?
That was tricky. That one was harder than the first week.
You
overall.
did
Like,
well, though. Maybe.
and the fact that we had 6 picks because both of us broke the rules.
Yeah.
You did?
We screwed the pooch really on that. Probably need to stay more check. Oh, dude. I went on, I didn't do your stream for the first game. I was actually on 2 cents. But you know who is your biggest fanboy? Your biggest cock rider? I
heard say it was Gaza.
It's Gaza is a fan. He loves you. He's just always like,
that's a compliment.
You should watch his stream, especially the start. Because people are talking about me and 2 cents podcast. And anytime anyone talks about our podcast, Gaza just goes, "Oh yeah, I saw about a minute of it or so, but I actually watched Kiwi Lads. I really like Kiwi Lads." And then he because it comes up a few times, he's like, "No, Kiwi Lads. I like Kiwi Lads." And he's like, "Mark, you should really do something with Kiwi Lads. It'd be good for you. Do something with Kiwi Lads. It would really help you out." Yeah. And then by the end, Mark's like, "Okay, Dad, I'll do something with Kiwi Lads. All right." Funny. You should watch it.
Maybe there's something in the mix.
Maybe.
Yeah, no. You should definitely drop him a line and get him to. It would be less dick jokes, but better content.
Well, boys. Oh,
yes. Sorry, and the other thing I want to mention to you, dude, I'm going to be at Eden Park for that second test in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Against Australia. So I'm happy to be your live man on the ground post-match.
That would be very enjoyable if it's anything like your one from the pub. Where you were out on the street and trying to find random people. But they wouldn't chat to you, would they? At least at a rugby ground, I guess.
No, I think we decided against it. I'm sure
because we didn't want you getting sucker punched. I think was
it?
Exactly. Yeah.
You've heard lots of bad things about Auckland, haven't you?
Oh, that would have been a bad week to do it. Yeah, jeez.
It would have been fine. Would have been all right.
You can hold your own, can't you? Got some hands on you?
No. Terribly cowardly. I was just if somebody wanted to like pick a fight with me, I just put my chin out and say, just get it over and done with. End it quickly. Yeah, or run, basically.
Gosh.
Oh well. I guess on that note, we might be near the end of this post-contact. Those post-contact meters that we've made.
That's a great name for a podcast. Post-contact meters.
Post-contact meters. Write it down.
PCM.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I guess thank you all very much for being here. You too, as well, of course, for being here. Willie Roo was totally the man of the match, says Kyle with sarcasm. Yeah, he wasn't the flashiest, was he, Willie the Roo? He wanted to fight people, though. He was keen for a bit of bit. But that one that really made me think, he's probably going to annoy people was the one when it went out on the full. And he was pointing to the referee going, "Oi!
Hey! I've done it before."
And everyone, I could even see the South African people in the chat going,
yeah.
He's not ours.
I love how Tom Wright, he also a reaction. He's like yeah, we had to walk back. He's like, but yeah.
Because both wingers for the Wallabies also had small injuries, didn't they? Mariko, I think he did something to his calf early on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think the week break has come at a pretty good time for all the squads, essentially.
That's what I'm about to say. Yeah, the Wallabies can kind of refresh a bit before they face the All Blacks. So should be a good test.
A week and a half away, essentially.
Thursday. On a Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, yeah.
It doesn't feel right, does it?
No. I'll be back in the UK then, so I'll be good.
Oh. So you'll be a 11:30 or so a.m. game.
No, actually, no. It's actually going to be early because the game's being played within Australia, so it'll be 5 a.m. or something like that. Because that's what it is within the UK. Because all the games all the games are normally early within the UK, similar to here to the US. So to the East Coast of the US, but no, it'll be good. But I unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to kind of do a live stream for that game because I'm heading up from London all the way to Manchester where I'm based. So I'll be halfway at some friend's house.
Did you live stream tonight?
Yeah, no, I live streamed the Argentina Pumas game because I was able to. I set up I literally set up. I'm set up for the whole night. Like I haven't been able to sleep essentially because I was like, and even after this, I'm watching a football game, and then I'm gonna get some sleep because tomorrow is my birthday as well. So I'm gonna have to prepare for that. So that'll be good. So,
yeah.
I was like, do I mention it? I was like,
waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
Where can you properly use it?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Rugby Itch.
I was going to see how long you hold.
Oh shit! I've never met somebody who makes a guitar sound more like a banjo than you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although the whammy bar's a nice touch, you know.
Yeah, it was great. I thought you did the South African national anthem this evening very well, Hamish.
I panic every time though. I have one little mistake halfway through, even though outside of a live stream, I do it all right. But then as soon as it gets to the match, I'm like, oh no.
Sounds like me in the sack. I have one little problem halfway through, and then try and forge on, but nobody can forget it. You know, one of those. It's one of those. I like it when I say things that make you feel a little bit like, what do I do with that? How do I riff on that? You just do that.
How do I answer that?
You just go.
Yeah. I think I experience it quite a bit with George, although normally with George's I know that it's getting cut out. Like when he goes in a random statement, not in a live stream but in a video, I'm like, yeah, that's not making it. But then on live stream it's you can't really can you?
Yeah. You keep bringing me on. I'm sorry.
I do, yes. Yes. It looks like a nice day where you are, Rugby Itch, by the way. That sun's starting to stream in quite nicely.
Yeah, it's early morning. Well, not early morning, but it's 8:30ish here now. So yeah, it's pretty nice actually. So
how many people are watching this still? Oh, sorry, I interrupted you guys.
There is 166.
166 hearty souls watching this gibberish. My God.
My dad just came in just said.
Normally we have 2 more games of rugby, don't we? Is Rugby Itch's dad? Is he going to make an appearance?
No. He was just telling me that he finally watched the game after because he was sleeping for a bit and then he watched the game. So he was just telling me that he was very happy. Oh, he was very happy.
Who's his man of the match?
Rugby Itch. Can you tell your mum I say hi?
We'll do.
Thanks, man. And then also. Tell Donna I say hi too. I just want to say hi to all the mums out there.
All righty. Even though it's Father's Day.
Exactly.
It's sensitive topic. My father's dead, so It's, we should have laughed. It's actually true. It's not funny. It was 10 years ago, but it's okay. I'm not upset. It's fine. He was a great man. I'm not saying, oh God, I've really got myself in a hole here. You know what I mean.
Yeah. That was unexpected, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, you said it was Father's Day. Then I was like, oh, well, my father's not here, so it's not much of a problem. And then I was like, oh, then that's quite a heavy thing to lay on this sort of stream, really, isn't
it? Late at night, yeah. So I guess we should mention Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, or anyone who has a father. Be sure to treat him right.
Right.
Cook him some raspberry toast.
Raspberry toast. I'll show you. You want to see my little
breakfast
girl?
in bed.
I mean, if you don't mind showing the 138 other people,
isn't it? It's the internet.
Maybe after the live stream, because else then people are weird.
Exactly.
This is awkward, says Matthew. It did get a bit that way, but we're all happy now.
I'm sorry about that, Matthew. It was my fault. It was my bad.
Happy birthday, Itch. Open 10 presents. And happy Father's Day, my guy, says Nathan. And there as well. But nonetheless, we've got we're sitting 58 minutes, 50 seconds. I think we try and end exactly
on an hour.
1 hour. This is a lot of pressure, though. I feel like I'm going to get this.
How much we got to go?
We got exactly 1 minute now. Yeah.
60 seconds. So anyone who isn't already, be sure to subscribe to these 2 lovely individuals. Rugby Itch down below, Distractor Sports, Tim aside, Tim and Tony. Go check them out.
TNT Dynamite. That's right. I've just got one wise piece of wisdom to leave everybody with is he who goes to bed with an itchy bottom will wake up with a smelly finger.
Okay.
I love these quotes. I love these quotes.
Well, that came out of nowhere, didn't it? Well, but we've got 20 seconds. Any last words anyone's got before we close it off?
All good.
I think I was premature.
Happy to be on once again. Yeah, happy to be on.
Right. Nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to end at exactly 1 hour and 3, 2,